Our next guests are real-life biker besties who swapped Hollywood for hogs. Together they have travelled 60,000 miles across the globe, and they're telling us all about it in their new stage show, Long Way Chat. So fire up your engines. We know you adore them. It's Ewan McGregor and Charley Boorman.
Come on! Good morning, gentlemen.
Nice. Good morning.
Well, where do we begin with this? This is the fourth long way. Let's have a quick recap on the first three long ways.
Yes. The first one was Long Way Round in 2004.
Yeah.
And we rode from London round to New York, east across Europe, and then...
Because it's about the journey.
Yeah.
It's the long way.
It's the
Let's
long
go
way,
which
long
way
way round.
Which way do you want to go? The longest way possible, please. Thank you.
And that was the most land you could do to go around the world. So we went to Eastern Europe, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Siberia, Far East Russia, Alaska, Canada, and then New York.
He's so good, isn't he, Ewan? He's so good.
Off.
Well, you're nice.
No.
You could have made that up. You may well have made that up. We're in. And he was there, by the way.
I was there.
He was there.
I know.
So it was 2004, the first long way. Did you think there'd be other long ways?
Oh,
I don't know.
I think we didn't even know if we were going to finish the first one.
The first one.
So
There was a couple of moments where we might not have done it, like in Far Eastern Russia on the Road of Bones, where all the bridges had gone and the we couldn't get the bikes through the deep rivers. It was kind of cool though.
It was cool. That part was fantastic. But then it was kind of fairly quickly. We went and then decided to do Long Way Down.
So
down
2007
through Africa.
next.
7.
Yeah, go on.
And that was all the way down. That was from Scotland to Cape Town.
Right.
And that was we went to Ethiopia.
I'd love to do it again. I'd like to do. I think and imagine doing all of them again. I can imagine, like, I can remember the roads, or you're just in your daily day, and suddenly a little memory gets sparked in your mind of a like overtaking those trucks in Siberia with the dust, and you had to sort of commit to going past them when you couldn't really see.
You still said you about it, and you're talking to each other about it. You love it. It's so funny.
I know.
It's why it works though as a show, because it's so authentic.
Well, it's true. I mean, that's what we wanted to right from the start. We pitched this show around to begin with because we had an idea. Let's try and ride from London to New York and make a documentary out of it. And so we sort of pitched it around, and you'd be amazed at how many ideas people wanted to put on top of it. Like somebody wanted to make it like a challenge show as we went around the world, and then whoever got the least points in these challenges by the time we got to New York had their bike crushed in their crusher, and you're like, what? No, we're doing the journey, and that's it.
Keep it simple,
Keep it simple.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So 2007, then there was a bit of a break. And you came back when for which one?
2019 for Long Way Up.
Long Way Up, which was electric motorcycles, and went from bottom of Argentina to Los Angeles, which was quite difficult, I have to say. I mean, no one had ever done anything like that before, and people had done long journeys on electric cars and stuff, but never sort of this type of thing. And what we didn't realise that we knew anything about charging. So, and we certainly didn't know that. But the other thing is that in the whole of South America, Central America, Mexico, there were no fast chargers. So
what a surprise!
Could you believe it? And so it took like 11 hours every night to charge the bikes. And
there are barely any in Hampstead, just so you know.
Yeah.
I know, it's tricky. But we were just about to leave. We got there, and it was, as usual, we hadn't really done any planning.
Nothing.
About the weather or anything, and we were snowed in, We're like,
worst
we're about to
storm in 20 years.
We're about to start a motorbike trip, and we're snowed in. Like, uh-oh. And then somebody shows this huge big box, this big metal heavy box with cables, and they're like, you're going to have to plug this in and then plug the bikes into this.
Yeah.
We're like, where are we going to put that?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, the follow cars. And we're like, no, we don't do it like that. We are on our own. So we didn't even have a charging plug, did we?
And strangely enough, you don't hear much about electric bikes nowadays, not the big ones anyway. The EVs are still doing all right, but the EBs, I don't know, they haven't really become a thing, have they?
The trouble with it is it's to make the range much longer, they have to make the bike much heavier, and that sort of defeats the purpose in a way. So we'll get there, I think, because they're amazing in town. I think if your commute is less than 100 miles, then and you're in the city, being on an electric bike makes a lot of sense.
All right, well, you did your bit for the course, so well.
Right, thank you very much.
And you're back now. So no, it's fine.
No, I do believe that. No, it's true. It's true. It's difficult.
You're thinking we want to do a fourth, and I'm just going, yeah, but direction-wise, you've run out, guys. You've gone round, you've gone up, you've gone down.
Yeah.
You need to come up with home.
Yeah.
So long way home. Perfect.
But the fourth one really kind of was born out of long way up when I think we were in Bolivia somewhere, weren't we? And we were riding along, and it was like, it was hard work.
Dodge.
And it was quite a brutal part. It was very, very high up. I mean, that's one positive about electric, is that it doesn't matter how high you go.
We've moved on from electric. Can we stay moved on from electric? Thank you.
So we decided, we as you sort of get towards the end of one show, you sort of talk about another one in order for the one that you're on.
Yeah.
So when you finish that one,
it's not
at least
so
in
sad.
the back of not so sad.
Not
yeah,
so sad.
Got it in the back of your mind, and we started talking about it.
It was
didn't
dodgy.
we?
I mean, Charlie was quite recently after a terrible accident at that point.
Oh, yes, that was.
And your legs were like, I mean, now your legs are much stronger, but at the time, it was. You were in a fragile
we
place
were all
with
very
your legs,
worried for you. You know that anyway,
and then
because you came in to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
following Charlie on those ruts and the sand on the deep sand in Bolivia there was quite a worry,
Yeah.
So I think we started daydreaming, because we can talk to each other in our helmets as we ride along, and we started talking about another trip, almost to take our mind off what was happening.
Which does help, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does.
So long way home. We start at your Scottish pile.
Yes.
Which is very close to where you were brought up.
Yes,
All
indeed,
right.
yeah.
So we're in Perthshire.
Yep.
And we're going to Suffolk, which is
Surrey
Surrey
Hills.
It's a couple of hundred
actually,
miles
to
away.
be precise.
It's not that far.
But why?
No.
Cut a long story short. No, let's do the opposite. Yeah, let's make a short trip long. And so 17 European countries is where you're going.
Yeah.
Great driving roads, great corniches, great passes.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? What did you see? Give us the headlines.
Okay.
Well, we went to we went there because neither of us had ever been up to that part of the world in the Scandies.
Yeah.
And people just talk about it so much. So that's why we kind of went there.
Yeah.
So it was Norway and then Finland, Sweden. But I think one of the things that we really, really were surprised by was how bizarre some of these sort of motorsports and people were.
Yes.
They have these amazing, like in Germany, in Denmark, was it with the Dike competitions. So they have these big long poles. So back in the day, you would have these fields with the dike in there separating them to drain the water, and they would use poles to jump over the dikes. And anyway, that of course then became a competition, and then now this whole sport comes out of it, and they have these huge poles and they run with these, but they jump on and they climb up these poles as high as they can. I'm sure you've seen it, and then they fall down the other side, and if they don't, if they get it wrong, they just plunge into the water. So we had all these bizarre experiences with people doing these sort of Scandinavian sports.
Yeah.
So close to home though. That's the other thing, is we left Scotland, we went to Newcastle, got on a boat, and the next morning, it was a very nice overnight boat. Next morning you were in Holland. Why did it take so long?
Because they went the long way round, man. They just showed you the thing.
The boat wasn't.
The captain went, we'll give it a go.
I don't remember.
I think we did.
No,
sleep,
I
didn't we?
think they probably
Oh no, it's just a 4
threw in
hours.
a bit of Bay of Biscay without you knowing there.
Maybe they did. Anyway, we get to Holland, and suddenly you're in a. It's only a few hundred miles away from where you've started, and you're in a different country.
It almost didn't last very long, because I think when I just pulled out in front of some big man and forgot.
Yeah, what
that
is
was
it
the
with
wrong
you,
side of the road.
Charlie? What is going
I know.
on?
Often it's right at the start. Like when we left on Long Way Down. The same thing. We were just coming out of London, and you just had
And
a very
he's
near
supposed
miss.
to be the biker boy.
I know. Well, he is. I know.
Well, he is.
Well,
He's
it's just once I'm going, then it's fine.
Do you know what I
It's just
mean?
getting going.
Well, here we go. All right, by the way, we talk about Scandinavia again in a bit if we've got time.
Yeah.
Because I'm fascinated by Scandinavia.
Beautiful.
You got to be careful when you go to Scandinavia in your life, because if you go too early in your life, you just won't come back, because they got it so right.
Yeah, it's
if if you want to ride a roller coaster that's life, don't go to Scandinavia till you're at least 50.
Yeah.
Because it's just too nice.
I know,
It's
it's
just
beautiful.
too cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They've got all the priorities in the right order, haven't they?
Yeah.
God, they can dig a tunnel as well. Holy moly! I mean, they dig tunnels.
dig
I mean,
life.
you go under the ground and you go along for ages, and then suddenly there's a roundabout with 3 roads running off the roundabout, all underground.
Underground in different colours. I love that long one. We're coming out, and you were saying, "Well, I have to say, I'm really rather pleased not to be in there anymore. You get sort of claustrophobic after a while. You're like, will this ever end?
All right, we do need to talk about your prowess on a motorbike and your tendency to be off a motorbike.
Right.
Because we can talk about it now, can't we? Because you're much better than you
for
were. But straight away, I'm shouting at the telly yesterday when I'm watching it, because you're picking your bikes, which was all the fun. Who doesn't want to, we need to get a new old bike. It's like, oh great, any reason, any story will do. And then Ewan gets this amazing vintage Los Angeles LAPD motorbike, sort of a la Chips, which is fantastic. Twin disc brakes. You, the man who needs the safest motorbike on the show, goes for a very sort of fragile, small drum brake machine. Like, so he's not renowned. Ewan McGregor is not renowned for falling off his motorbike and having to get his legs put back together.
Well, I've fallen off my fair share.
You thought, because
luckily for him, most of them have been on camera. So
Exactly.
for me, luckily, most of mine haven't.
Yeah.
So technically, they haven't.
Which is why he's the movie star and you're not the movie star. That's the way it goes.
But also, to make it worse, Charlie's commitment to the aesthetic of the motorcycle meant he chose these horrible tyres that look super cool, no grip, none at all.
They were knockoffs as well.
Yeah,
they weren't even
the real deal.
Firestones. So
He's got a rubbish. I want to say another word, beginning with shit and ending in, He's got a rubbish drum brake, and then I'm like, honestly, I'm fearful for you. I'm watching it yesterday, I'm going, please don't choose that back. Please don't choose that back. Please don't choose that back. And then the tyres. You look at the tyres, you go, that's not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea for those hairpins in the rain.
Oh, and those cattle grates.
No.
Because it rained. I tell you what, the one thing
Why
we
would
did.
you do that to yourself, Charlie?
I mean, the one thing we did do was I thought was really funny. You and I got old bikes and we dressed ourselves up in old gear.
Yeah.
Nice jeans.
And that was off camera.
The whole thing, right? That was off camera.
And then there's the show to talk about.
And we got all that. And anyway, and then we got this the piping band to send us off, and we got on the bikes. We got to the end of the road, and it started to rain, and we realised 20 years of experience had.
Of course.
We obviously hadn't learnt anything. In the
Not a
20
thing,
years.
not a damn
So
thing.
we had to completely change all our clothes because for the next 4.5 weeks it just rained.
Yeah, didn't stop.
It didn't stop at all.
Yeah, I mean, we were so lax in our planning, and we always are.
Yeah.
The idea of going north up through Norway, in when was it?
June. June. Yeah, June.
Or earlier. I mean, it was going to be wet, wasn't it? But we didn't.
I put this huge.
People have been there
headlight on.
before.
I know, we could have looked it up on a little website or something.
And
It's
there are
not
shops.
Mars, is
There
it?
are shops along the way as well.
But better for the viewer. Yeah, better for the audience, for the Apple
But we
TV
looked
Plus
right.
audience.
We looked good on the bike.
You
good
look,
on the bike.
for a
you
minute.
look
Yeah,
great.
for a minute,
You
yeah.
look
We got
absolutely
back to it
great.
in the end.
And then you got your bike garages.
And he had his big spotlight. Sorry, he had his big spotlight, and up there it never gets dark.
Yeah, I put this huge spotlight. I'm thinking we're not going to get caught out, and we always end up never ride at night.
Right.
And then we always end up riding till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And this time I thought, I'm going to put this big light on. And then we were driving, I said to you, and I said, I only just realised it never gets
Surely you
dark.
know this
up
about
here.
the Northern
The
Hemisphere.
only time he got to use a spotlight was in the tunnel.
And then I'd blind.
Yeah.
like
Blinding
all.
me like that.
Had you been filming this in Norway in like December, perfect, because it never gets light.
It never gets light,
But
exactly.
the opposite of never getting light is
Is
never getting dark.
Never getting dark. But it is. I mean, if anyone's hadn't been up that way, I mean, as you said, it is one of the most beautiful parts of the world.
Literally, some people don't ever come back.
Finland as well completely blew me away. Finland, if you look down at Helsinki, and then if you're looking at the map just to the right, there's this massive lake with 1,000 islands on it, and you can go there and we got lost on one of the islands.
It's all islands, though, isn't it?
just
Scandinavia,
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
all islands.
Yeah.
I mean, Stockholm is 13 islands itself, isn't it? It's just one big archipelago. Right. So again, you got your bike garages. You have one, a bike garage in Southern California, and you have one in Perthshire. Charlie, you have one or two?
I got
Just be honest
two at
about
home
it.
now.
Just be honest.
You got two at home now.
You got two. And you get there and you have a collection, you have collections, bikes coming in, bikes going out. Jules Holland has this rule. He's got a 4-car garage because otherwise we know how this ends.
Oh, yeah.
It never ends.
Oh,
so it's
so
one
he-
in,
yeah,
one
that's
out.
not a bad idea.
But of course, bikes are smaller.
I know, you get more in.
They're more affordable.
Yes.
You get 4 or 5 in one bike bay.
Yeah.
I know.
So that's a good.
It's like Pandora, isn't it? You know that jeweler's Pandora where you buy the bracelet and then you just buy a new charm for it, and because that's the thing. Your garage is the bracelet, and the appendages that are two-wheel just keep on coming.
Yeah.
How many do you have? What's your favourite? If you could only save one out in a fire, which one would you save?
Oh, gosh, it's impossible. I have a lot. I mean, I've been selling off my collection in the States. I have. I have.
Yeah. No, he has.
Have you been meaning to sell them off?
I've been selling them
you
off.
folded your arms.
I know. It's painful to talk about.
Because I have the same issue. I have the same problem with cars. Yeah. I don't believe you.
No, I did.
I think you're deluding yourself. I think you intend to sell them. Have you actually sold a single bike?
I have. I've sold off quite a lot of my bikes from the States. Three or four.
3 or 4. Exactly.
That's quite good. No, more.
Right.
Six
How'd you
bikes
sell them?
and a few bikes through friends, and I know different people for different kinds of bikes. You know, there's a guy who's my Moto Guzzi guy, my older vintage Moto Guzzi guy.
Do you have a go-to brand? There's lots of Moto Guzzis in your
Moto Guzzi is my favourite.
That's
Yes, was my first big bike when I got my first big bike. It was a Moto Guzzi, and I never sort of looked back. I really like them. They're an acquired taste.
Is there a holy grail of Moto Guzzis? Is there one particular model?
Well, one of the most beautiful bikes they ever made was the early 70s V7 Sport, which I have one of, and it's a beauty. Absolutely.
Are they hard to find? Are they hard to come by?
Well, they're not probably that hard to come by, but they're you buy one and restore it, or make it nice and.
What's
ratty.
the most famous motorbike in the world?
The Brough Superior.
The Brough Superior.
Probably. And
is that the Lawrence of Arabia one?
Yeah.
There's a guy in
bizarrely,
there's a guy in Tasmania, and he's a salmon farm guy, and he's got the second largest collection of Broughs and Vincents, and he's got the most expensive bike that was ever sold. I think it was $1.2 million.
Also, one
that
interesting...
had a land speed record, and you go there and he says choose whichever one you want, and you go off riding. One? Yeah,
are they nice to ride?
Very, very nice to ride.
Are they?
And he's got one which he's done, which is his everyday one, and he's replaced. You know the little springs on the front. There's 2 little springs on the front. He's replaced them with little mini Öhlins.
Oh wow!
And he's done on the back as well, and he's put an electric start on it, so that one was a sort of a bag of, a bag of bits.
It wasn't sacrilege.
Bitzer.
Yeah. And so,
so those are the ones that are big money.
What an interesting position for him on the food chain there, though. The second largest collection.
Yeah.
Who's got the first? Have they ever actually done a head count or a cylinder count?
Yeah,
and who has the third?
I know exactly. Yeah, but he's quite happy with his second. I think he would like to be. Yeah. He's looking to be the first.
Second is good. I like second.
It's not bad.
So come on, we didn't answer the question. We didn't get to the answer.
If I could only keep one.
Just the one.
Oh, it's so hard to know.
Do you go for the classic, or do you go for one that you could use a lot, a daily driver?
Yeah.
What would you do? Where would you go with it?
An older bikes.
Yeah,
you like your.
I do. I like them to tinker about but I also like I like a really capable. Like I love my little V9 downstairs because it's so.
Have you gone a bike this morning?
Yeah, we both rode it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What about you,
It's
Charlie?
impossible.
Did you ever?
Well, at the moment, I'm in love with this. It's a Ducati Desert X, which is.
So would Ducati be your go-to brand, or?
I quite like Ducati. I'm not really. I like a bit of everything. So it's. I've got a few of that. I've sold a few because I realised I took a couple in for an MOT the other day, and he said, "Look, Charlie, you've only done 5 miles on those," and so I think I like you, or like Jules, I put mine down to a number where you can actually ride.
Yeah,
you have less of a sort of you've got more of a practical connection with them in a way. Yeah. You don't get so emotionally attached to the bikes. I'm the opposite. I'm totally like emotionally attached to mine, and then I can end up with far too many. That's for sure. Yeah.
That is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you can suffer your passion, can't you? You got to position it right, I think, and especially when you have to manage it all and stuff like that. I mean, first world problems. Don't get us wrong.
We have to manage family in with your passion, Because if it was up to me, I'd be off every day riding somewhere.
But you're also partial to a VW, aren't you?
Yeah,
because they often get on camera, don't they?
Yeah,
and you start off with a pickup, and you're driving the old police bike down to your mate's workshop. Where's that?
To Mo Moore's down in Indiana.
Who doesn't want to hang out with him all day?
Yeah, he's a good lad.
He's funny. I can smell it through the screens. I want to be having a cup of coffee with that guy.
He's the guy. He is the loop frame Moto Guzzi guru in the world, actually, I think. And it's like the early 70s Moto Guzzis, and he's also. a VW guy, so he like builds transporters and the old split screens. And, he's not a Beatle. He doesn't like Beatles. He's only a sort of commercial vehicle guy. Yeah. But he's a font of knowledge and a fun guy to hang around with.
But he's got as many battle scars as I have. So when we first met a few years ago, we sat and sort of spoke for about half an hour about, but I've broken this and I've broken that as well.
It was like Jaws. They were just showing each other all their scars.
Do you find, and I say this with the greatest of respect, and I hope it's not inappropriate, do you find as you get older with the biking community that as people get off their bikes, there are more people limping and much stiffer because inevitably you will have injuries because it's two wheels instead of three or four?
Yeah, I mean, I think people do have. What's funny is you can see someone who's raced a lot, or has done motocross, or has done tracks, or has raced amateur or whatever, because they're the ones who limp more. So if you look at any MotoGP rider or anything like that, they all kind of limp around a bit.
Every time I watch MotoGP or Superbikes on the telly, I'm like, how do they do this? Yeah. And then they're interviewed afterwards, and they're all sort of the size of a what's his name? Our famous jockey, Frankie Dettori, aren't they? Frankie Dettori would be like the biggest guy in the room.
Right.
They're all so small and their bike's so big, and
I know, and they never complain about when they never talk about their big
I see them talking to each other now. They put the first the podium guys, they put them in a room and you get to listen to them looking at the highlights. And they're just so matter of fact about it. Yeah. Minutes before they're doing like almost 250 miles an hour.
But it's the pressure on the arms and the braking, isn't it? Yeah. That's the thing. And there's
huge.
nothing of them. There's nothing of
tiny,
these guys.
Yeah.
All right, so
but they're fit. They're athletes.
Of course they are. So it was your 20th anniversary whilst you're filming The Long Way Home. This is a brand new show with Ewan and Charley, and we all love this. Clearly, it's the 4th season over 20 years. People love spending time with you guys through their telly. So thanks for the show. It's great. I know you get paid for it. I know you get paid for doing what you love. Yeah. But it is absolutely fantastic. Because you filmed it in 2024, it's 20 years after the first one, so it's your 20th anniversary together with the show, but you've been friends forever, you're best friends. As a sort of parallel co-pilot to the rest of your life, this show, it's nice to have a metric, isn't it, where you go back and you think, it's like watching you never watch your favourite film twice because the film stayed the same, but you've changed. Yeah. It's a different person watching it. What have been the highlights of the last 20 years for you away from the show? Because the show takes you away from your life, which gives you perspective, and perspective is always useful, isn't it? Because it's hard to zoom out unless you geographically. It helps to geographically move because then mentally you also zoom out. What would be the highlights, last three, top 3 things in the last 20 years for you, Ewan?
Outside of Long
why
Way,
not? If you feel comfortable answering it.
Wow.
Movie wise,
Waiting
or
to do another Long Way.
No.
No.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've done some work that I'm incredibly proud of, and I've had an amazing time doing good work. I've had not such a good time doing other good work, and vice versa. Sometimes you have a great time.
Well, go on, go off the top of your head. Go on. What did your gut say?
I mean, one of the most amazing experiences I had in the last 3 years would be making a movie with my daughter Clara. She wrote and produced a movie and asked me to act in it with her, and we had I'd split up with her mum, and we had gone through a long period of upset, and she was she was in a lot of pain, and she was very angry, and I was desperate to be back with her and have her back in my life properly, and we made this movie together, which was it was about that. I mean, she wrote a film about an estranged father and daughter finding themselves again, and it was the most beautiful thing that she did for us.
Excuse me, I asked you top 3. We don't need another 2, do we? I think we're going to have a round of applause. This is a good.
Amazing.
Charlie, good luck with your answer because he's killing it over here. I mean,
that would be a highlight because it was just the most amazing experience, and it brought us close to each other.
Kieran asked about Obi-Wan season 2, please. Thank you, if you don't mind. Season 1 was so good. Is that going to happen?
I don't know yet. I hope so.
Well, if you don't know, who doesn't?
No, I don't know. They haven't told me or asked me or anything. So, but I'm not.
For the money, 2 for the show. Come on then. Similar question. Same question to you, please, Charlie.
Well, outside, I suppose outside.
Staying alive
was a good thing.
Again, with the greatest of respect.
Crashing, the operations. And no, I think for me, outside of long way. I did the Dakar Rally.
Yeah, did you?
I did. Did I not tell you?
Did you do the Dakar Rally?
I did the Dakar
Doesn't
Rally.
like to mention
Trips
it.
out every now and again.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, outside of doing long way, it was quite a brutal experience to get to the start line and to qualify and to be able to be part of a big pop. I'd always wanted to be part of or have a race number that really meant something, and doing the Dakar Rally, did that. I broke my hands doing it. So I didn't quite finish, but
Just the hand. I mean, for you, that's nothing, is it?
Yeah, well,
It's like having an itch, isn't it?
Yeah. It was quite difficult to wipe your bum, but it was. But other than that, it was fine. Claudio and I, it was fine. But and it was nice to have Claudio around. He's such a challenge. He's our cameraman who's been on all
By the
of
way,
our
can we
shows.
just talk about those two guys,
Yeah.
right? Those two dudes.
Yeah.
They do what you two are doing whilst holding cameras.
I know.
They do.
Well, we don't like to talk about that too
Well,
much.
I'm happy. I'm not surprised, to be honest. And presumably they don't fall off so much.
No.
I mean, I have to say, when we did Africa, Claudio did.
Yeah.
When we were in, we all struggled with the deep sand. Charlie is a more proficient off-road rider than any of us, but me and Claudio, it's the first time we'd ever come across that kind of issue.
Yeah.
And
Deep sand is
it was horrible. There was a section in Kenya. I think it was in northern Kenya. Was it? Well, after we met the tribe that was having the
that was it. Yeah, that's that was massive.
And Claudio, we had a day where Claudio was off all the time. Claudio was off all the time, And but we both conquered it. We both got it in the end with our expert tuition from Charlie.
Just a quick one-liner for that. If we are motorcycling through sand, or even bicycling through sand, is there like a go-to hack?
Yeah,
for sure. And it's look ahead as far as you can and be a little committed, because the little bit faster you are, the easier it is.
Sort of
because
stay on top of it.
You want to get it's like a speedboat.
Exactly.
You want to get up onto the plane, and once you're on the plane, then you can throttle back, and then you go along like that. But it is commitment.
On top of that, there's the allowing the steering to go, because the front
your hands loose.
Your handlebars will shake, and your instinct is to close the throttle, and as soon as you do that, you're off.
Yeah.
But so you've got to teach your body to do what it doesn't want to do, which is keep the power on and let the steering go like this. It's terrifying.
They always say you should feel like you're almost playing the piano on the handlebars, so that your hands are a little.
Yeah, no, I love
loose.
it. Same with golf. So many people hold the golf club too tightly.
Exactly.
Same because nothing can get through.
Yeah.
Because you basically formed a dam for your energy. You stop the flow, and then
you're
hits
fighting against it.
a resistance, and then it can't go anywhere. So it's got to go back on
Are
itself.
you golfing?
I have, yeah.
Do you golf? I was thinking about starting to golf again.
Yeah, it's that time.
Yeah.
I think we should go to Scandinavia and golf and just never come back.
Saunas and golf.
Yeah, saunas and
The greatest
motorbike.
golf course I ever played is a golf course called Shiskin on the Isle of Arran.
Oh yeah.
And it's where the cave was that Robert the Bruce saw the spider.
That's
creep
right.
up and just keep going and keep going. And he thought, if he can do it, I can do it. The thing about Shiskin Golf Club is 12 holes.
12 holes, but that was the original.
interesting.
That was all golf courses. All golf courses.
That's
in the
a much
beginning
better.
was 12.
That's a better round, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
It's the perfect round.
Yeah.
12 is the perfect round.
Yeah.
It's the
I mean, how
perfect
many
round.
times have you come to the 9 and
You think
I
that's
thought that's not enough, and then you think, and then you're on the 12th or 13th and think, I could stop now.
Yeah, no,
I'm playing
absolutely.
like crap now. That's what happens to me.
Well, as long as you play one hole that's good.
So it's very important that we talk about the
We
long
used to
way
play.
chat. The long way chat, which is at
Yes.
Nottingham Motor Point Arena. It's an arena.
Arena. We're
Oh,
doing
I
a stadium.
mean,
We're
don't-
playing stadiums now,
No.
Charlie.
we
and I.
don't mess
Faffing
around.
about here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Frustrating. Patty Kylie Minogue has played there.
Oh,
I know.
you're a big fan.
Always
Yeah.
been a big fan.
Good. With all the hits. 6:30 p.m. Nice early start. See, that's
Yeah.
where we
You
are.
see?
We're talking about golf.
Get dinner in.
We're talking about pretending to sell things but not really selling
gonna
things
have-
online.
I know.
We're talking about. It's great being us, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good.
How old are you now, you guys?
54.
54.
59.
This is
working
the
out
other
there?
thing.
58.
When you get to this age, you don't really know
Doesn't really
how
matter.
old you
Well,
are.
it's so
Doesn't really matter.
unimportant now because the
It's
number's
so
so
important,
big.
but it's
He's doing the
gorgeous.
mental mathematics to subtract.
Yeah.
Well, when
From
I'm
the
hitting
real age,
59,
that's what he's doing.
it's my birthday in a couple of weeks' time, so I'll be 59. But then I think I'll start counting back.
I
now.
thought you were going to say. I
58
thought you were
next
going to say
58.
that, but then I think I'll be 60. No, that's how it works.
Well, for ages, I thought I was turning 57, and I was really quite depressed. And then my twin sister said, "No, we're turning 56." So I suddenly had a whole extra year, which was really nice. So if you can convince yourself,
mate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm obsessed with this Billy Bob Thornton show at the moment. Have you seen it, Goliath?
No.
Oh no,
it's good. It's good.
Well, yeah, he lives where you live, and Billy Bob Thornton is 70.
Yeah,
is he?
He looks great,
super
man.
cool? Yeah,
and doing some of his finest work ever.
He is.
Yeah,
Did you
that's brilliant.
See that one of the oil Landman?
Yeah, well, Landman
fantastic.
came out of this show. So Landman itself came out of Yellowstone from a writing point of view. But
it's all the same guy. Isn't it?
It's Taylor Sheridan. But he, as a character, his character Landman came out of this show Goliath, which is
I see.
the chain.
Oh, good,
Okay.
good,
Of
good.
the chain. So Ticketmaster.com is where we need to go if we want to join you at the Nottingham Motorpoint Arena. I thought it was a tour, but it's
a one-off.
No, it's so funny. You're so funny, you two, though, because you say like, okay, well, we're just trying it out, see if it works. If it was trying, you do it down the local community centre. You're doing an arena.
Well, we did.
You try things out, then you do the arenas. You two are we're starting.
We're gonna give it a go.
Yeah, Oasis stadiums.
Yeah.
Well, sure, come on, this can't be difficult, can it?
No, I think it's be fine.
Let's talk about Oasis. Come on, let's have the Oasis chat. Come on, Ewan.
Well, we saw
that. We went to see them in Cork.
Yeah, when you and I first met 30. I don't know how many, 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
It'll be 95, 96, because that's when it all started. Yeah. How did you meet, by the way, both of you?
We met on this movie called Serpent's Kiss that shot in County Clare in Ireland, and we were both acting in it. And we just had our first kids. We were both young dads, and we both, there was a kick-off party for this movie, and Charlie came up to me and went, "I'm Charlie. I'm playing the secretary and." Or my secretary, as it turned out. And I hear you've got a Suzuki Bandit, or whatever the bike I was riding at the time. And then, so we immediately started talking about bikes. And then 30 years later, we're still talking about bikes. Nothing much has changed.
Superb. So anyway, back to Oasis. So you both went to see Oasis together. That's great, man.
And it was amazing. I had a sort of fanatical obsession with Oasis, like you would have when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
But I was a later 20-year-old dad, and people would come over to the house for dinner, and then we'd just end up always watching Oasis videos, and I was such a bore with it.
But at the time, we were rocking and rolling with Oasis, both you and I, weren't we? At various places, doing various things.
Yeah.
And we were living the dream. And as good as your life was, and your life was Trainspotting good, and mine was TFI Friday good, we still couldn't have been more jealous because we weren't in Oasis.
I know.
But because they used to come in to wherever we were having a pint or whatever we were doing, and we just pretend to be in it for a bit.
With them, bit. I met him. I think I met Noel for the first time in Cannes or somewhere in a film festival somewhere. And then I when we did Life Less Ordinary with Danny Boyle, I sang. There's a bit where I'm coming back to get. I go to get some shopping, and I've got Cameron Diaz in hostage in a shack in the mountains. So as I'm walking across the countryside to get to the shack, I was singing "Round Away." The birds are singing, and I forgot about it when we went to see the premiere. Noel Gallagher was sitting behind me, and just before it was like, oh my God, I sing the songs that's coming up. And I was sitting there, and he just tapped me in the shoulder after it, and went, nice one. It was fun. And then I was at his birthday party. The famous story, which is a true story, is like Noel Gallagher's 30th birthday party. We used to live around the corner from each other in Belsize Park. And I went to that party, and at some point early the next morning, we were having a lightsaber fight in the garden
of his.
Of course, and he likes to say, he taught me everything I know about lightsaber fights.
Was that pre you getting the Star Wars?
It was. I think it was.
That was just you still hoping to get the Star Wars.
Maybe I was too. I can't remember. I'd have to do the math.
But
that was so funny.
But I haven't gone to see them yet, and I will. I've got to, but I'm a bit scared to. I don't know. I've got this anxiety about it.
I feel the same way. We run out of time, but quickly as far as that's concerned, my daughter's just been to see them twice.
Yeah,
she's 38 now.
Yeah,
and she said, "Dad, best night of my life, including the birth of her children." Right?
Wow.
And
wow.
And I thought, yeah. She says, "You going to go and see them, Dad?" I said, "I don't know. Same as you, and same as you, Charlie. But I saw them back in the day. It was back in the day. I'm not sure whether we want to go back there again." But here's my question, right? In 1996, it would have been 30 years after the Beatles' 1966. Had the Beatles got back together, would we have gone to see them? Of course we would.
we would have done.
And that's what's going on now.
That's what's happening.
Because there are kids' Beatles.
I know.
And that's just giving me chills.
I know, it
just
gave me
talking about
goosebumps,
that.
yeah. That's
All right,
amazing.
listen, we've got to go. We're out of time.
Thanks,
We're over
Chris.
time. You two are great. I love the bones of you. If I could swear, I would. That's how much I love you. Ewan McGregor and Charley Boorman. I could do it, but then I wouldn't be here again tomorrow. And I really like being here. Ewan McGregor and Charley Boorman, Long Way Chat, live event, Ticketmaster.com. The show is on Apple TV Plus. It's great. You're great. Thank you for being here. I love you both.
Thanks, man.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All right, round of applause, please, for Charley and for you and for the team, because they're as good as it gets. Bye-bye. Have a great Thursday. See you, everyone.